What's good, guys? I'm Judith. Welcome to Alley Oop Londoner. Okay, so Paul George basically said that he wants MVP this season. Do I think that's possible? It's possible, but I have other candidates in mind. I'm ready to start talking about it. Let's go. So Paul George basically said that he's coming for LeBron James. He wants that MVP, he wants that title, he wants that championship, and I'm ready to watch it. So Paul George basically said that he is chasing LeBron James. Just like how LeBron James said he's chasing Michael Jordan, everyone's got a bit of a goal this off-season, don't they? Everyone's got a bit of a, you know, like, hey, I'm chasing you, I'm chasing that, I'm going for this, I'm going for that. I like it. He's coming for that MVP. He's chasing glory, basically, and I don't blame him. Last season, Paul George came back from a horrific injury. We all saw that horrific injury during the USA basketball team scrimmage thing where Paul George basically broke his leg. He was out for the season, and then he came back to Indiana Pacers full form, took them to the playoffs. I mean, granted, it was only 7th seed, but hey, at least it's playoffs. It's better than Washington, what they're doing right now, right? And let's face it, it was Toronto versus Paul George in that playoffs. Not bad for a 7-game series. Not bad. Do I think LeBron James will have an MVP contending season? Absolutely. I feel like LeBron James will have an MVP season. Like I said, he's gunning for Michael Jordan, so he wants to maintain those numbers. He wants to maintain those accolades. He wants to maintain the kingdom. I feel like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love are finally forming into what they are forming into this elite super team era of Cleveland, do you get what I mean? And I feel Kyrie Irving's just gonna be just as dominant. We saw him in the finals, and I think that was a good insight on what he can do. And I feel like LeBron James can take a step back a couple of times and let Kyrie Irving take the lead. We saw what he can do in the finals, and we're gonna see more of that. Western Conference, we know is going to be headed up by Golden State Warriors. Anything less of the first seed is a flop. No, that's not being harsh. It's facts. When you form a supercharged super team, the expectations are beyond high. They're to the moon and back, and anything less than that, yeah, is a flop, to be honest. I think Steph Curry or Kevin Durant will have an MVP contending season. Absolutely, they're going to be #1. When it comes to MVP, it's always awarded to the top 1 or 2 teams, 1 or 2 seeds within the conference, whether that's Eastern or Western. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry will be in the mix, absolutely. However, their numbers won't be as high as last season because obviously they're going to be sharing the points, they're going to be sharing a lot. And I feel like that's going to be the main focal point for Golden State Warriors. I have Kevin Durant do 40 one game, Steph Curry do 40 the other game. It's going to be like back to back. So they'll be in the mix. However, I have a slight issue when it comes to MVP, when it's selecting 2 MVPs from the same team. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of MVP? Most valuable player, when you have 2 valuable players on the team? It should just be the most valuable player on the team. I feel like every player, every team in the league needs to nominate 1 player to be their MVP, and that should be it. So what about Los Angeles Clippers? I feel like Chris Paul is going to be just as dominant as he was previous seasons. You can always rely on Chris Paul. Do I think he'll be MVP? Absolutely not. You have Houston Rockets. James Harden's going to have a comeback year. Now that Dwight Howard is gone and he doesn't have to like deal with the storylines and the drama of like, oh, sharing the ball or dealing with, you know, Dwight Howard's issues, James Harden is going to be James Harden. The only reason that Houston Rockets made it to the playoffs anyway was because of James Harden. He's going to get back into the MVP mix overall. Now he's the point guard for Houston Rockets, so his numbers are going to be just as high, just as effective, just as MVP contending. And we can't forget about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has an edge that most players and most superstars in the league don't have right now. He has a championship. He has a finals MVP already. He has an all-star under his belt. He has defensive player of the year 2 years in a row under his belt. Don't forget about Kawhi Leonard. Now that Tim Duncan has retired, we can expect Kawhi Leonard's role in San Antonio Spurs to be increased just a tad. We can expect, you know, it's Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge to really step up post Tim Duncan. But do you know who I think is going to have the biggest MVP contending season? Damian Afterthought Lillard. Yes. Everyone seems to forget about Damian Lillard. I feel like Damian Afterthought Lillard could have been a bit higher in the MVP voting last season. Okay, let's face it, we all thought Portland Trail Blazers were going to be a lottery team. They were going to go into the NBA draft. They weren't going to make the playoffs whatsoever, but they ended up making to the second round of the playoffs. And that's because of Damian Afterthought Lillard and obviously CJ McCollum, who won Most Improved Player. I feel like everyone forgets about Damian Lillard. Okay, they forgot about him in MVP. They forgot about him in All-Star. They forgot about him in Olympics. They forgot about him all the time. Damian Afterthought Lillard for MVP. I got your back, man. Don't forget to download his EP. If KarlAnthony Towns can continue that rise that he did in rookie season, we can expect KarlAnthony Towns not only to make All-Star, but really to be in the mix for MVP. We can expect KarlAnthony Towns to really dominate and really be the lead in charge for Minnesota Timberwolves. And obviously he'll be aided by Andrew Wiggins, who's just as dominant as well. You have Zach LaVine. I'm just so excited for Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got a new coach, Tom Thibodeau. Don't sleep on the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's all I'm saying. Let's not forget about Russell Westbrook. Let's not lie. Russell Westbrook is an angel in our eyes right now. We are all rooting for Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is a back-to-back All-Star MVP. I feel like he's gunning for that league MVP. In order for OKC to be just as dominant in the Western Conference, Russell Westbrook needs to be as relentless as he was last season. He needs to just be incredible. I feel like Russell Westbrook needs to get that Kobe Bryant mentality that everyone says he has, even Kobe Bryant says he has, and that Michael Jordan-esque vibe he has about him. And I really feel like Russell Westbrook could really be a contending MVP this season. Okay, so those are my views and my opinions on MVP candidates in the Eastern and Western Conference. Do you agree with me? Do you feel Damian Afterthought Lillard has a chance? Do you feel Russell Westbrook is going to get that MVP? Who do you want to win MVP? Do you think Paul George actually has a chance? Do you think LeBron James will come back and take his crown? What do you think? Comment below and join in with the discussion. Like I said, I'm not an NBA expert, I'm just a Londoner who loves the NBA. Until next time, I bid you good day. MVP.